Hey, what is up guys, it is Mike, and sorry I haven't made a video for like 2 months. College just kind of stepped in and I had to let it pass. Get it? Pass. Anyways, I want to talk about how I almost died on my Nikkor board, and by died I mean I got a concussion. So real quick, I'm doing this video in conjunction with Alyssa. It's going to be like two parallel stories over one another. So Alyssa, come here. This is Alyssa. You probably could have guessed it was going to be her because it's not me, so great.
So I'd like to preface it by saying I only met this kid like a week before this all happened, so having some stranger vomiting and bleeding in my car was not exactly the way I wanted to start off my Tuesday night.
Alright.
Don't do that.
On with the story. So, real quick, I actually have two penny boards right now. This one is the actual penny board, and that's my friend John's, and he's letting me borrow it. And then I have this one. This is a Nikkor board, and this is mine, and I'm keeping it. They're two different sizes. This one is 5 inches smaller than this one, and the trucks on the penny are shorter than the trucks on the nickel. See? So I was riding this board to class a lot just because it's smaller, so it's easier to tuck away. And I got used to how short the trucks were. So then one day I finished my homework super early, like before 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. I'm going to skateboard down to the mailroom, check to see if I have any mail. Then I'll come back and I'll watch New Girl, make some tea, and just cry. I'm just kidding. I didn't make tea or watch New Girl. Okay, I'm going to take my Nikkor board today because I haven't been on it in a while. So I start to skate down to the mailroom, and the Nikkor goes a lot faster than the penny, so I'm like really cruising. So now I see someone walking towards me in the same path that I am. But since I was on the Nikkor, I forgot that the wheels were wider, so when I looked up at her,
He fell because he saw the girl that he liked.
and I put my foot in front of the wheel and I flipped off, and I don't remember what happened except that I saw stars, but not like those ones, like the ones that you're not supposed to. So now I'm on the ground, very embarrassed as to what happened, so I grab my board and skate away as fast as I can, hoping that she didn't turn around. And I go into the mailroom, and you know when there's just like all those P.O. boxes back there? I just put my back against her and I just slumped down for a second. So I go to check the time on my watch, and the whole face is just shattered. And then I check my mailbox, and it's just a bill from my school. So then I skate back to my room, and I look in the mirror, and there's just blood dripping down here and blood dripping out of my ear. And I'm like, oh, good. So I text my friend Maddie, and I'm like, oh, dude, I just fell off my skateboard.
Maddie bursts into the room and is like, yeah, Mike just like slapped his forehead on the pavement. Like, I think he's fine. But he texted me saying he's feeling really sick. So Seraphina's like, oh, we should probably check on him. And then Mike actually ended up coming into the room, stumbling into the room, and was like really bloody. And it was really bizarre because we weren't expecting him to be actually injured. And he sits down next to me, and he just like smells like sweat and blood and just general disgusting human being. And then he's like, I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to bed. And we were like, that's probably the last thing you want to do. Like, we enjoy your presence in our lives and would rather not you slip into a coma.
So I come back here, shut all the lights off in my room because the lights are really hurting my eyes, and I just sit against my bed and just put my head against the wall like this. And then I started to get really dizzy, and I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I texted them, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna call public safety to make sure everything's good. So public safety, or PS, or DPS, or whatever you call them at your school, swings by my dorm, and they're like, yeah, definitely go to the hospital, get it checked out. So I text my friend Alyssa, and I'm like, yo, Alyssa, hook me up with a ride. And she's like, yo, Christy, on it.
And so I'm thinking, wow, this is annoying. It's 12:30 in the morning. But yeah, sure. And like being super nice, I'm texting him. I'm like, absolutely, I'll come get you. Like, I'll get my car! Exclamation point. Like,
she sends Seraphina down to my room to make sure nothing's gonna go wrong while they're getting their car. So Seraphina and I are sitting against my bed, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna throw up. So we both go to the bathroom, and I sit on the floor in front of the toilet, and I can't throw up with Seraphina in the room. It's just not gonna work. I'm like, Seraphina, can you go out of the room for 2 seconds? And she's like, no. Good. Thank you, Seraphina. And she was really worried that I was gonna fall asleep or pass out or something, so she kept talking to me and asking me questions, and I was like, Seraphina, please stop talking to me right now. I need to throw up. I need to focus. And she was having none of that. She was actually grabbing different shampoos from the bathroom and like spraying the air in my face and being like, what does that smell like to you? So that was great. So then Alyssa and my friend Bae pull up outside. Seraphina and I go outside.
And by the way, Bae is B-A-Y. I feel like he's not gonna kind of remark on that because we think it's so normal that her name is Bae. It's not some kind of cutesy bullshit.
I get in the car, close the door, immediately open the door, run out to the bushes. Seraphina follows me, and I just start puking.
It actually took us like 15 minutes to get him into the car because he couldn't really figure out where the car was. And then he was continually vomiting, but he wouldn't tell us he was vomiting. So he would just quickly get out of the car, go off into the bushes, and then Seraphina would get out of the car and come back and be like, yeah, he's, you know, all the contents of his stomach are now laying on the steps of his house. And then we finally got to Sturdy Memorial.
So I walk into the hospital, I see the woman, and I tell her, oh, I fell off my skateboard and I think I might have a concussion. And she says, oh, okay, were you trying a trick? And I said, no, I was going straight. And she said, oh, okay, are you under the influence of anything? And I said, no. And she said, oh, Okay. So now they finally call me into the room, and the nurse is giving me a second round of questions. She's like, okay, so I understand you fell off your skateboard? And I was like, yes, that's correct. And she says, okay, were you trying any tricks? Like, did you jump very high in the air or anything? No, actually, I was just going straight. Oh, okay. And do you drink? No, I don't, actually. You just fell off your skateboard going straight? That would be correct. Then the nurse leaves and the doctor comes in and he's like, oh, okay, we're just gonna scan your brain and make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. No sleeping while you're waiting for the MRI, and you didn't take any Tylenol or Advil before you came, correct? Correct, doctor. Okay, that's great. Doctor leaves, nurse comes back in and says, oh, it's probably gonna be a while. Feel free to take a nap and I'll get you some Tylenol for that headache. The nurse even came in and was like, are those girls your friends? They're not looking too good. Two of them were just like hallucinating and Snapchatting each other. And then the other one was just like passed out in the waiting room with drool coming down her face. And I have it on Snapchat, so I'm going to put that video here.
I deleted all the Snapchats out of my phone because I don't have storage for ridiculousness. That's such a lie. It's filled with memes of dogs and angry children. It was terrible. Yeah, it was really bad. And then it was like he didn't even have a concussion by the time we were out, because you were like, yeah, can you like turn on like Drake, or like you asked me something. Yeah, so like 3 days after this all happened, we're like eating lunch in the dining hall, and I noticed that the scars on his knuckle and his wrist are green. His wrist and knuckle are still green.
They're not green.
They're not really green, but they're pretty gross. Nauseating.
But anyways, that's it. I'm good now. I did have a concussion, but it's all healed. I'm hoping that I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace.
That's the sound of the police.
Wait, you're not going to do my idea? You're going to... Why?
That'll be for a different video.
Spice react. I don't know why I'm
You could
here.
be like,
See, I can't explain things. I'm nervous. Okay. And is it okay? Do they know where you live? Are people going to come kill us? No. Okay. So confident. No! No, I can't deal with this.
Let me do my part real quick.
Wait. Sucks. I kind of want them to know that I'm hardcore.
Okay.